Oh, for crying out loud.
Ricky! Ricky! You told me you was high, but I can see through that. Cause you told me you was high. Bum, bum, loom, bum, 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 to the boot, oh, root. 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 Oh, bum, bum, loom, bum, 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 bum. I got a girl named Sue.
Rock and roll is a river of music. Rock and roll music is an art form.
Rock and roll is here to stay.
She rock to the east, she rock to the west, but she's a gal that I love best. To the booty, oh Rudy, 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 to the booty, oh Rudy. Pop, pop, pop. Bam, boom.
In the early 1950s, popular music belonged to the realm of wholesome white performers, such as Perry Como, Doris Day, and Gail Storm. The songs they sang were designed to be as innocent and inoffensive as possible. For the most part, this music reflected the taste of the growing white middle class, enjoying the fruits of post-war prosperity and progress.
Won't you dance with me? Please dance with me. Oh, dance with me. When you hold me tight. Oh, Papa, won't you dance with me? Tonight.
Talk to me, Daddy.
The 50s also saw the advent of a new social class, the teenager, with more leisure time and money to spend than ever before.
Yeah, man.
Bored with the current hit parade, young people began tuning their radios to stations that played a more exciting kind of music. Black rhythm and blues. Gradually, records by the top black artists began showing up on jukeboxes where white kids congregated.
I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight. Gonna hold my baby tight as I can. Tonight she'll know on my mind, man. I heard the news, there's good rockin' tonight.
Rhythm and blues was a combination of several black musical styles. From jazz and big band music, it took its rhythm and beat. From blues and gospel, its emotional intensity.
Like a one-eyed cat peeping in a people's door. Like a one-eyed cat peeping in a people's door. I can look at you, baby, there you ain't no child no more. Well, over the hill, way down underneath. Well, over the hill, way down underneath. You make me roll my eyes, baby, make me grit my teeth. I let shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Well, hurry up, baby, before I get too old. Rattle and roll.
The Moondog Show.
Hi, everybody. How y'all? This is yours truly, Alan Freed, welcoming you to the Big Beat once again.
Eventually, a few white DJs began playing rhythm and blues records specifically for teen audiences, some using the term rock and roll to hide its black origins. Among the most prominent was the Cleveland DJ, Alan Freed. Freed played all types of R&B records, but he was partial to the smooth sounds of black vocal harmony groups.
Life could be a dream, life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom. Life could be a dream. If I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and open we'll meet again. Boom, ding dong, ding dong.
Records by black vocal harmony groups began to gain popularity with the young white audience. But rather than promote these unknown groups, the major record companies found they could sell more records if the songs were re-recorded by established white groups.
Now every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so far.
Known as cover versions, these records were heavily promoted and almost always surpassed the original recordings in sales. They did represent a new sound, but it wasn't rock and roll. The time had come for a white performer who could adapt rhythm and blues without losing its vitality.
Hey, Steve, we must be out of our cotton-picking minds. We should be getting some sleep instead of coming here.
Maybe so. But something's getting these people out of their houses. I'm going to find out what it is.
In 1952, a small-time country and western band from Chester, Pennsylvania, began playing a curious mixture of rhythm and blues and country swing.
Well, 6 times 6 is 36. I ain't gonna hit for 6 more licks. We're gonna rock.
This new music soon attracted an enthusiastic following up and down the New Jersey shore. When one of their recordings sold 30,000 copies, the future looked promising for Bill Haley and the Comets. But then, they recorded another song.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on. Join me, hon. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock.
Rock Around the Clock was just a moderate success when first released in 1954. But its subsequent choice as the theme song for the movie Blackboard Jungle not only made the song the year's biggest hit, but catapulted Bill Haley and rock and roll to national attention. Bill Haley had given kids everywhere a music that spoke their language.
Well, now, what do you think? Oh, it's crazy music, man. That sends me, Jack. That music sends me, man. It sends me. You guys dig that music all the way. Rock and roll is cool, Daddy, and you know it. Here, the station is WINS, your contact station. The city is New York.
In 1954, Alan Freed moved his radio program to New York.
Rock and roll.
He also began staging live shows that presented the leading R&B groups to white audiences for the first time.
Now, one of the most fabulous of all rock and roll acts, here are the Treniers.
Rock it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, rock it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Groups like the Treniers and Bill Haley's Comets had drawn from their northern urban roots to create rock and roll. But elsewhere in the country, other musicians were reaching into their musical heritage and inventing their own versions of this new music.
I just run to the camp and tell my brother Bill.
In the South, the predominant music of blacks was country blues, directly descended from work songs and old-time spirituals sung by their slave grandparents.
And then I looked around.
The blues gave expression to the black man's hardships, as well as offering a means of escape from them.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Lord, Lord, hey, Lord. Hey, hey, hey. Lord, 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 hey, Lord.
Few Southern blacks ever dreamed of making a living from their music. In fact, there was no place in the South where a black man could even make a record, until a white radio engineer named Sam Phillips opened the Memphis recording service.
Nigger and the white man playing them up. The nigger beat the white man, scared to pick it up. He had to what? He had to bottle up and go. Where your high power women show got to.
Phillips eventually started his own record company called Sun and continued to record blues singers. But all along he kept thinking, if only I could find a white man who had the Negro sound and the Negro feel, I could make $1 million.
Well, thank you a lot, Cordy, and howdy, friends and neighbors. I'd like to sing a song for you now, one of my favorites entitled, You Never Lose Your Mind.
Most of the white citizens of Memphis, as elsewhere in the South, had little use for the records Sam Phillips was making.
Every day and night and she's gonna try for the Lord, yeah.
They had been raised on country and western, or hillbilly music.
And when your baby starts to step and Lord, you nearly lose your mind. Now if your mama's mean, take a tip from me. Lock her up at home, Lord, but hang on to that key, 'cause she's gonna try for the Lord, yeah. They'll do it every time. And when your baby starts to step and Lord, you nearly lose your mind. Oh, pick it out, Jimmy.
Some Southern musicians, however, had begun to incorporate the blues into their country sound. One of them was a 19-year-old Memphis truck driver who spent all his free time hanging around Sam Phillips' studio.
Well, that's different. That's a pop song now, little guy.
When Elvis Presley first walked into the Sun studio, he knew he was special. Elvis told Sam Phillips he didn't sing like nobody. And he was right.
Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do it, that's all right for you. That's all right. That's all right, Mama. Any way you do. Well, Mama, she done told me. Papa done told me too. Son, that guy you fooling with, she ain't no.
Elvis Presley's first record, That's All Right, caught Memphis by surprise. Sam Phillips had found his man. Now he had to make him a star.
Train a ride, 16 coaches long. Train a ride, 16 coaches long. Well, that long black train got my baby and go. Train, coming down the line. Train, coming down the line. Well, it's bringing my baby, 'cause she's my, oh, oh, my, she's my, oh, oh, my.
By the early 1950s, Chicago's steel mills and factories had lured thousands of blacks from the Deep South with the promise of employment and a better life. Among them were many musicians raised on country blues.
Jump and shout, then the world wanna know what this all about, but you know I'm here. Everybody knows I'm here.
In the black ghetto on the sprawling South Side, musicians began to play a new style of blues, electric blues, that could be heard above the din in the noisy honky-tonks where blacks congregated. One of these clubs was owned by two brothers, Phil and Leonard Chess, who had started a company to record the best of these urban bluesmen.
I love you, baby. Let's run one down. Rolling, Master A. Master A, take one. Here we go, rolling.
Chess Records had a number of hits on the rhythm and blues charts, but by 1955, the Chess brothers, like other independent producers, were seeking ways to adapt this music to the expanding rock and roll market. Chuck Berry was just what the Chess brothers needed. The leader of a popular East St. Louis rhythm and blues trio, Berry had come to Chicago seeking a recording contract. Arriving at Chess Studios, Berry impressed Phil and Leonard with his articulate vocal style and a guitar sound that was part blues, part country, and pure rock and roll. Overnight, Chuck Berry became a national star.
Why can't you be true? You done started doing the things you used to do. As I was motivating over the hill, I saw Maybelline in a coupe de ville. A Cadillac rolling on an open road, nothing out to run my V8 Pro. Cadillac doing about 95, bumper to bumper rolling side to side. Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You done started back doing the things you used to do.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as everybody knows, Harlem, whenever any new musical trend has evinced itself in the popular field, whether it's the Charleston or the Black Bottom or any of the rhythm songs, the first area to find out about it in advance is Harlem. A couple of weeks ago, I went up in Harlem. I'd seen these shots in the newsreels about thousands of people jamming the streets around Frank Shiffin's Apollo Theater, all trying to get in to see Dr. Jive's rhythm and roll, rhythm and color, rhythm and blues.
Whatever you called it, rhythm and blues continued to evolve as more musicians picked up the rock and roll beat. One of these was another Chess artist, Bo Diddley, whose distinctive guitar style became his trademark.
Oh, till the bottom, baby, diamond ring. Till that diamond ring don't shine. Oh, till the nigga do a private eye. Till that private eye can't see. Even I take the ring from me. Oh, till the bottom, and it goes. To make it pretty, baby, on Sunday go. Oh, till the bottom, alley can. To make it pretty, baby, on Sunday hand. When you said goodbye, Saturday.
In spite of the growing acceptance of rhythm and blues, cover versions by performers like Pat Boone still dominated.
You're the one to blame.
In fact, many new fans thought that Pat Boone's music was rock and roll.
When you see it,
until they heard the original.
My chills feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Oh well, goodbye. Although I'll cry, ain't that a shame? My chills feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame.
That, how'd this rock and roll all get started anyway?
Well, what they call rock and roll now is rhythm and blues. I've been playing for 15 years in New Orleans.
New Orleans had always been a musical city. But in addition to the jazz clubs in the French Quarter, there had been a thriving rhythm and blues scene since the early 1940s. Following the success of Fats Domino, record companies from other parts of the country began sending their artists to record in New Orleans studios. One of these was a flamboyant young singer from Macon, Georgia, Richard Penniman, otherwise known as Little Richard.
I got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. She rock to the east, she rock to the west, but she's the gal that I love best. To the booty, oh Rudy, 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 to the booty, oh Rudy. Bop bop doo bop 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 bop. I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. Got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. Boy, you don't know what she do to me. To the booty, oh Rudy. 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 Bop bop doo bop 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 bop.
I didn't want to record songs like Tutti Frutti and other songs like that that don't make a lot of sense, you know, but the recording director won out, thank goodness. He told me to go ahead and do it because it was going to be a hit. So I said, all right, I didn't believe it, but we went ahead and recorded it anyway. And it was a hit. It was a hit.
I got a gal, her name's Daisy, almost drives me crazy. I got a gal, her name's Daisy, almost drives me crazy. She's a gone cookie, it's the ree. Her name is Susie, is the gal for me. Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy. Oh, bop bop loom bop bop bam boom.
And now to continue with our show, we're going to bring you some of the top
The DJs like Alan Freed became more adamant in their crusade against cover versions, some even banning Pat Boone's records from their station.
My real name is Mr.
Gradually, the tables began to turn. The success of Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, and Little Richard enabled more and more black musicians to gain access to the national pop charts and the mixed audience.
Well, now some may call me Joe, some may call me Mo. This man Mosquito, he don't never take it slow. Well, now they often call me Tito, but my real name is Girl. Now they often call me Tito, but my real name is
I'm not a juvenile delinquent.
No, 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 no.
Even so, the most successful singers were those like 14-year-old Frankie Lyman, who had a sweet, innocent, and white sound.
Do the thing that's right, and you'll do nothing wrong. Life will be so nice. You'll be in paradise. I know, because I'm not a juvenile delinquent.
It seems to us a pretty fabulous salary. How do you spend it? I don't know about huge sums, but they go into trust for until we're 21. What do you spend the money that you do get on? Well, we get an allowance of $27 a week, and that's to do with, like, say, cab fare or hamburger. Any, do what you want. Yes. You know, any, have you got any particular weakness? Well, candy. Candy. Yes. Oh, and motorbike.
Yet as rock and roll was gaining momentum, so was the movement against it.
They're really rocking in Boston and Pittsburgh, PA, deep in the heart of Texas and round the Frisco Bay.
Why I believe that is because I know how it feels when you sing it. I know what it does to you. I know the evil feeling that you feel when you sing it. I know the lost position that you get into in the beat. Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
Sweet little sexy, she just got to have about $500,000, a famed autograph.
The obscenity and vulgarity of the rock and roll music is obviously a means by which the white man and his children can be driven to the level with the nigger.
Her wallet filled with pictures, she gets them one by one, becomes so excited, watch her look at her run. Oh, mommy, mommy.
Rock and roll has got to go.
They're even organizing a group to fight rock and roll.
This rock and roll is the musical noise symptomatic of a decadent and irresponsible youth.
I've been looking into this rock and roll stuff, and believe me, what I see disgusts me.
We've set up a 20-man committee to do away with this vulgar, animalistic, nigger rock and roll bop.
If we choose to call that the communist ideology, I think we hit it fairly on the head.
Well, they'll be rocking in Boston, Pittsburgh, PA, deep in the heart of Texas, around the Frisco Bay, way out in St. Louis, way down in New Orleans. All the cats wanna dance with sweet little
By the end of 1955, Elvis Presley had become popular throughout the South, but he still hadn't produced a national hit. Nevertheless, sensing his raw talent, RCA, with the help of manager Colonel Tom Parker, bought Presley's contract from Sun Records and launched a massive campaign of press and television appearances.
Hello? Hi, Gardner calling. I have Elvis Presley on the phone. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Elvis. Just one moment.
Hello, Elvis.
You know, less than 2 years ago, you were earning $14 a week as a movie usher, and then $35 a week for driving a truck in Memphis. Today, you're the most controversial name in show business. What do you keep in mind mostly? I mean, some of the songs you're going to do, or some of your plans, or what? What goes through your mind?
Well, everything has happened to me so fast in the last year and a half till I'm all mixed up, you know. I mean, I can't keep up with everything that's happening.
Your style of gyrating while you sing has been bitterly criticized, even by usually mild and gentle TV critics. Now, do you bear any animosity towards these critics?
Well, not really. Those people have a job to do, and they do it.
And do you think you've learned anything from the criticism leveled at you?
No, I haven't.
You haven't, huh?
Because I don't feel that I'm doing anything wrong.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
America soon discovered Sam Phillips' dream. That white man with a Negro feel and a Negro beat.
Well, they said you was high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, they said you were high class. Well, that was just a lie. Well, you ain't never gonna have it. You ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing mine.
I want to tell you something. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that I'm revealing any secrets when I say that that Elvis Presley is the fastest rising young singer in the entertainment industry today.
Elvis had in 6 months achieved more fame than any other singer in history. Some people felt that Sam Phillips had made a big mistake. But Phillips was certain that another one of his artists, whose record had just hit #1, would become even bigger than Elvis.
First, the record has sold, what, about 1,200,000 copies, right?
That's right, Perry. It makes me happy.
Well, I'm sure you're very happy about it, Carl. Is your trio ready?
I can get them ready.
Would you please? Friends, here he is. Very nice to have Carl on the show. Carl Perkins and the trio stepping out in their blue suede shoes.
Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't step on my blue suede shoe. Well, you can do anything but lay off my blue suede shoe. Yeah, you can knock me down, spit in my face, slapping my name all over the place. Do anything you want to do, but honey, lay off of them shoes, don't you? On my blue suede shoe. Yeah, you can do anything but lay off my blue suede shoe. Well, blue suede shoe. Blue suede shoe. Yeah. Well, you can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoe.
Blue suede shoes had beaten Presley's first RCA record into the top 10. But an automobile accident on the way to New York killed a band member and prevented the group from touring for 9 months. Perkins recovered, but his career never did.
I would like to say right now that the people over at 20th Century Fox have really been wonderful. All the great stars in the cast, the director and the producer. This is our first picture.
Elvis was now the undisputed king of rock and roll. Yet ever since childhood, he'd had but one dream, to become a movie star. Now, that dream came true.
Tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life sweet, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Well, I'm gonna write a little letter, I'm gonna mail it to my local DJ.
By the end of 1956, rock and roll had created a revolution that could not be stopped. Teenagers everywhere went rock and roll crazy.
You know my temperature's rising, the jukebox is blowing a fuse. My heart beating rhythm and my soul keep a singing the blues. I roll over Beethoven, tell Tchaikovsky the news. I got got the rockin' pneumonia. I need a shot of rhythm and blues. I caught the rolling arthritis sitting down at a rhythm review. I roll over Beethoven, they're rocking in 2 by 2. Well, if you feel it and like it, go get your lover, then reel and rock it. Roll it over, then move on up. Just a try for further, then reel and rock with one another. Roll over Beethoven, dig these rhythm and blues.
I have another one here, a popular song of the day, and I'm going to simply recite it for you, if I may, as a poem. Just drink in the simple beauty and the profundity of the sentiment. Sketch. Bee-bop-a-loo-ba, she's my baby. Bee-bop-a-loo-ba, I don't mean maybe. She's the one that's got the beat. She's the one with flying feet. She's the one that walks around the store. She's the one that gets more and more. Bee-bop-a-loo-ba, she's my baby. Bee-bop-a-loo-ba, I don't mean maybe. Bee-bop-a-loo-ba, she's my baby love, my baby love, my baby love.
Oh, bee-bop-a-loo, she's my baby. Bee-bop-a-loo.
Most record executives still didn't understand rock and roll, but they could no longer ignore the demand for the big beat. As the record industry opened its doors to new artists, a second wave of performers appeared. One of the first was a lanky Texan with glasses, Buddy Holly.
Buddy, come back here. I want to ask you a question. How old are all of you fellas?
Well, there's 2 18, 1 20, and I'm 21.
Where do you come from, Lubbock, Texas?
Lubbock, Texas, yes.
You go to school down there?
Well, we did until we got out of high school, finally.
Right after high school you started playing together?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Your big hit right from the start, or has it been sort of a long...
Well, we've had a few rough times, I guess you say, but we've been real lucky getting it this quick.
Well, Texas, nice to have you up here.
Thank you.
Let's have a very nice hand for these Texas records.
Don Everly, age 20. Only a 20-year-old would say his name in the first place, huh? How about you? What's your name?
Phil Everly, and I'm 18 years old.
Will both of you please smile? 18, 20. I think Pat Boone is old enough to be their grandfather. They have a wonderful record, Bye Bye Love. Sing.
There goes my baby with a long one blue. She sure looks happy out of her and blue. She was my baby. She said then goodbye to old man that I might have been. Bye bye love, bye bye sweet caress. Hello, I feel like I could die. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye. Bye-bye, my love, goodbye.
But while adults were being reassured by the Everly Brothers' soothing harmonies, a new performer was about to appear whose frenzied style would set them worrying again.
That's going to be the biggest cotton-picking record of the year.
Well, I certainly hope
he's
he's
a
right.
good ball, but he's a pass on the Pasquale. Well, Jerry, yes, sir, we're going to have old Jerry Lewis back just a minute. Jerry Lee Lewis with the greatest record I think he's ever recorded. Great Balls of Fire. We'll see you after a while, Jerry, okay?
All right, Mr.
Go out and get you a cold bottle of Coca-Cola.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much of love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed in love because I thought it was funny. You came along and moved, and honey, I changed my mind. This love is fine. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Loved you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Wanna tell this world that you're mine. I keep my nails and I twist on my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. A goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
By this time, the booming rock and roll market not only welcomed new sounds, it demanded them. Consequently, some of the original stars were having a hard time keeping up. Bill Haley, for example, had had a string of hits, but none that topped Rock Around the Clock. In 1957, Haley's popularity in America had begun to wane. Europe, however, seemed to offer a second chance.
I thought you were used to this sort of thing, aren't you?
Well, we quite often have people come to meet us like that, but I think this is the most enthusiastic reception I've ever seen.
Do you get a lift yourself when you hear rock and roll music?
Well, yes, I would say that, John. It makes me feel sort of happy, and I enjoy playing it very much. It's an exhilarating type music, I would say.
2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
European teenagers had been eagerly following rock and roll's progress in America from the start. Haley's arrival on European soil, however, touched off an explosion of unbridled enthusiasm and, in a few cases, uncontrollable violence. America, too, things were getting out of hand. After an Alan Freed concert in Boston erupted into violence, police began cracking down at rock and roll shows across the country.
Working all summer just to try to throw the tower. Yeah, every time I call my baby, try to get a date, my boss says,
No doubt, son, you gotta work late.
sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Well, Don, it's our feeling here in Jersey City that this rock and roll rhythm is filled with dynamite, and we don't want the dynamite to go off in the Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City. After we heard about the incidents throughout the country and the coming of this concert to Jersey City, I asked our Commissioner of Public Safety, Lawrence Whipple, to look into the matter, and he did make a survey of the situation.
My department made a very thorough investigation of these so-called programs. We had telephone conversations and correspondence with various municipalities, included among these being Hartford, Connecticut, Orange, New Jersey, Asbury Park, and the city of Hoboken. And we find that these programs are not for the good of the community, and that's why I ordered them banned.
By 1958, the tide was turning against rock and roll. Looking for an excuse to undermine the music they felt was corrupting America's youth, the U.S. government began an investigation into payola, the practice of DJs accepting money to play records.
The public is entitled to know the facts, and when an entertainer has a financial interest in something that he's selling to the public, he ought to say so.
Alan Freed, already a controversial figure, was singled out as the first victim.
I'd love to answer all your questions, fellas. You know, I'd like to be nice, but my attorney doesn't want me to say a thing. So I'm trying my best. I just can't say. I'm under subpoena here.
Alan Freed's career was ruined. 4 years later, he died, a broken man. Rock and roll had turned the music industry and young America upside down. But for some of the performers who had given it life, the end was already drawing near.
Rock and roll star Little Richard announced today that he was quitting show business to dedicate his life to God. The always unpredictable singing idol, who claims to have made over $1 million in the last 2 years with hits such as Tutti Frutti and Lucille, has enrolled in a Bible college in Alabama to, in his own words, make peace with Jesus. The abrupt announcement, which came at what seemed the height of his brief career, stunned the music industry and fans everywhere.
Jerry, what about this reception in London? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir. We had a very good reception, sir.
Oh, is that so?
Yes, we had a very nice time, and the people treated us real nice.
Well, the papers reported that you were greeted with silence over there and with catcalls from the audience. Is that right?
Well, I can't agree with them there, sir. Our audience was very nice and very good.
Were you there, Mrs. Lewis?
I was there, but I wasn't at the shows.
Oh, you weren't at the shows? Oh, did you notice anything like that sort of reception?
No, it was a very good reception, I thought.
Why did you leave?
Well, I don't answer those questions, sir. My manager might knock my head off or something.
When were you married?
Pardon?
When were you married?
Well, we leave our personal questions out of this, sir.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
We're here today at the German port of Bremen as Private Elvis Presley arrives in Europe to begin his tour of duty with the American 3rd Armored Division. Hundreds of young German fans have come here to greet Elvis and to get one last look at the king of rock and roll before he disappears into Army life. The military police are doing their best to control the crowd as Elvis presses his way toward the troop train that will take him to the American Army base near Frankfurt. Elvis seems to be taking it all in stride as the fans press closer, aware that this is the last they may see of their singing idol for the next 2 years.
Aware of the changes in the air, Buddy Holly decided to turn his career in a new direction. He left the Crickets, got married, and moved to New York. He wanted to concentrate on songwriting, but performing was lucrative. So in the winter of 1959, he decided to join newcomers Ritchie Valens and the Big Bopper for one more tour. Paul Anka and Fabian were brought in to finish the tour. The popularity of these so-called teen idols was indicative of the changes that were taking place. Their music pretended to be rock and roll, but for the most part it was just a parody of it. Ironically, the fans didn't seem to notice.
Gonna get 1,000 kicks, kiss 1,000 chicks.
The decade ended as it had begun. The homogenizing influence of the music establishment produced clean-cut, respectable, white performers who stayed well within the bounds of polite entertainment. Gradually but thoroughly, the hard edges of rock and roll were eradicated. The strong regional accents silenced, the spontaneity and the spirit of rebellion stifled.
Turn me loose, I say. Yeah, today is gonna be the day. I want you all to understand. Now I am a man, so turn me loose.
By 1959, out of the original artists, only Chuck Berry seemed immune to the forces that were changing rock and roll.
Her wallet filled with things. She gets them one by one. Becomes so excited. I watch her look at her run.
In a way, it was apt that Berry would continue. His music was youth personified. It celebrated the universal hopes and dreams of all teenagers, black and white, rich and poor, from every region. It was rebellious, but in a good-natured way. Its message was a lasting one that would not only endure, but inspire generations of musicians to come.
They'll still be rocking in deep in the heart of Texas. All over St. Louis, way down in New Orleans, all the cats wanna dance with sweet little Texas. Well, alright, so I'm being foolish. Well, alright, let people know.
Rock and roll had ignited a revolution, yet there was a price for all that unexpected vitality and flash. Elvis, though forever the king of rock and roll, never again achieved the originality of his first recording. Bill Haley returned to the small time, where he lived out his days playing rock around the clock at revival concerts. Little Richard, never thoroughly convinced of his religious calling, vacillated between rock and roll and God. Others overcame the tragedies that befell them and attempted to rebuild careers cut short. In one way or another, they all continued to play the music that had brought them fame. And eventually, as rock and roll came of age, some saw their careers revive. But however fate treated them, neither the passage of time nor the whims of popular taste could diminish the magnitude of their contribution. They had left behind an immeasurable legacy. That legacy was rock and roll.
You ain't nothing but a hound, been snooping around my door. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, been snooping around my door. You can wag your tail, but I ain't gonna feed you no more. You told me you was high class, but I can see through that. You told me you was high class, but I can see through that. And Daddy, I know you ain't no real cool cat. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, been snooping around my door. You just the old hound dog, been snooping around my door. You can wag your tail, you know, oh, little thing.